game regardless.
And of course, SGS and TSM, they have that history. They've played in the past at IPL Face-Off. That's when we first saw the AP mid-karma coming out from SGS, and it was awesome as hell. It was so cool. But they lost that game. They lost the series 0-2, and well, some of it was jet lag, some of it might have just been the new experience playing against American teams, but they're back and they want to win. They're serious about this. Some teams are like, we're here, we're going to do okay. SGS, we want to take out TSM. They beat us in the past, take them down now.
They really do. So we're already actually in picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to hop right over here. Bans flying out right away. Rengar, Shen, and Orianna from SGS against TSM banning out Jarvan, Lee Sin, and Lulu. Now, I understand all these bans coming out from SGS because this is basically everything that TSM's been playing recently. Whereas on the opposite side, Jarvan, Lee Sin, and Lulu, well, they just look like really interesting bans.
Alright, Lee Sin, of course, he's one of the best junglers in the game. We've seen him mid lane. He's got that great gank presence, so it makes sense as a ban. Jarvan, that is a lot of SGS's strategy. AP Karma mid works because of Jarvan. You have Jarvan initiate, the shield goes onto him with Karma. That's a really, really easy tether, so you can damage everybody with her tether. And it's a really efficient setup, but it makes sense once you've played against SGS, and TSM does have that experience.
Meanwhile, we do see SGS first pick taking away that Jax, so Dyrus not going to be able to play his fan favorite Jax. Of course, Shen has been banned out as well as Rengar, so they're limiting the options for Dyrus. Of course, there's still Olaf on the table, there's still fan favorite Kayle, Vladimir, anything that he can play in the top lane. Jace is also available as well, but TSM going to respond right away, pick up the assassin Diana, who's been left on the table, and the Adon's going to be playing Maokai, which basically, no pun intended, they're bringing him back to his roots.
I'm really disappointed that they have Jax and Mundo at the same team on SGS, just because in the past they've run Mundo top lane, which was awesome as hell because everything SGS does tends to be really funny. If not, sometimes effective, sometimes not, but no top Mundo this game it seems. Going to be going into the jungle. Soraka being picked up, now that's an interesting pick because as a support, Soraka is not considered very strong. Some players can play her very aggressively, but overall it's never been consistent.
What if it's an AP mid Soraka, which we haven't really seen since like Team Black was playing it from the EU scene?
That is a possibility. That's what I'm thinking it might be, just because the normal Soraka, she doesn't do enough in lane. Her sustain, it's okay, but it's not as good as Soraka's. You can't really be aggressive unless you go for an early point in Star Call, which might be what we see happening. Aggressive level 1 Soraka does a lot of damage. Star Call spam, that adds up very quickly.
I mean, even if it is a solo mid Soraka, I like the thing that they're doing here, because now TSM's going to be like, well, we could pick our bottom lane and base it around Soraka. They're going to pick a very could be aggressive Vayne, but they're going to actually farm up for that late game on her. She's going to get very, very beefy very fast. And then we have Sona being picked up to poke down, and oh, now we're hovering over Karma, so now there's still the potential of that going in the mid lane and then having Soraka in the bottom lane, and it is actually going to get locked in. Why would you ever say, oh, they picked Karma? Karma is amazing.
It's the Urgot. That Karma, and it makes perfect sense. All right, this is cool as hell. So, Mundo, Jax, or Urgot initiate. Urgot can use his swap, gets in, gets super tanky because he'll have the extra armor and MR, and he'll also have the extra shield coming out from Karma. So they're going to be using Urgot kind of like a Malphite, kind of like how you'd use someone to get the Orianna ball into a big fight. And, well, Karma coming out from SGS, they don't want to go to losers bracket. They want to stay in winners. I believe the winner of this will end up playing CLGU, so they want to keep fighting now. And well, bring out their best stuff. The AP mid Karma is certainly strong on SGS.
I mean, and now TSM's going to have to deal with the fact that, okay, Diana as an assassin, she can burst down champions fairly quickly. Once she gets that level 6, she'll be fine. But if you're going against a Karma who's going to be healing herself while damaging you, shielding herself while potentially damaging you as well, Diana's not going to be able to get through that burst of the shield, because as soon as Karma gets lower, her AP gets higher. So if Karma baits out some of that damage from Diana, shields in the middle of Diana bursting her down, she's going to have more AP to absorb more damage. Diana all of a sudden can't nuke her down in time, and that could potentially lead to a swap, a Mundo coming in, a Jax jumping on your head, anything that TSM really doesn't want happening.
Diana and Nerf coming out in the same sentence. Was that a mistake, or was that your subconscious?
That was a little bit of a little bit of a Freudian slip there.
But I mean, right now SGS, they've got a cool team. Of course, TSM, this is a very standard TSM team. I mean, Olaf up top on Dyrus, the odd one running jungle Maokai, original mid lane Diana, Chaos on Vayne, X Special, and so this is all stuff we've seen before. I guess maybe we don't see Chaos on Vayne all that often, but it's still pretty frequent.
And this is a very standard team solo mid composition, which, to be honest, besides the Diana pick, I love, because TSM has been trying different things. They haven't really found their own new niche in the metagame. They used to play that Karthus and Kale composition. They used to play Vladimir and Kennen. They used to have all these things that they won tournaments with, and they just kind of stopped doing. Now playing Olaf in the top lane, jungle Maokai, that hyper carry Vayne and Sona to poke down in the bottom lane. This is what they're comfortable playing with, so it doesn't matter really. Well, it matters to a point, but it doesn't matter as much if they're going to be like worried about, okay, well, are we going to be able to contest with this mid Karma, Soraka and Urgot? We haven't seen that for a long time in tournament play either. Are they going to be able to contend with it? Are they going to be ready for it? It doesn't matter, because they're playing a composition that's a little bit more familiar they could just fall back on and still be pretty good with.
And they're not using the best Karma skin. I'm disappointed. Where's my Mayan Karma?
I honestly don't like any Karma skins. I love Karma. I just play default Karma.
Well,
because
they need to make more skins first, so she can be broken and OP and everybody can buy her. I mean, right now, as it stands, looking at this game, hey, that's clairvoyance on Soraka, so we'll see if they can use it well. But Soraka, Urgot as a bot lane, it's been a while since I've got to talk about it, but it used to be the meta. It used to be what everybody played. But the way it works is Urgot spams everything always nonstop, and it hurts like hell. And usually he's limited by mana early on, but you know what? There's Soraka. Problem solved.
Yeah, so that's Soraka and Urgot going to be going pretty well with each other. We say that a lot, actually, in older tournament play. I believe the European scene was very popular with the Urgot pickup. North America, of course, jumped on the train after that one, and we saw a lot of awesome stuff coming out from them. So we are going to see here Team Solo Mid and SGS at level 1 Studio. Who do you think has the advantage here?
It could go either way, really. I mean, oh, we got a little UI error going on there. I'm going to go ahead and fix the team names.
We got to swap teams here.
Yeah. There we go, there we go. But looking at this level 1, I mean, they have Jax initiate. Karma Shield's very powerful, but it looks like both teams are going to be very cautious about really going in there, because why make a big risk? This is their last chance to stay in winners. And, well, I don't think TSM wants to be one of the many North American teams not making it there. I think they're our last chance, besides CLG North America, who's already made it to winners.
Yeah, well, yeah, CLG North America did make it to winners. They beat Team Fear. You guys actually just saw that one there. So they are actually already in winners bracket. TSM doesn't want to be left in the dust, though. They actually want to, you know, they want to get there at CLG. Obviously, they have a little bit of a rivalry between the two teams. They want to get up there. They want to compete. So not surprising they're going back on this. This is, of course, only still the best of 1 phase. The last group match that they have, like we mentioned before, the winner of this is going to be taking on CLG EU in the upper part of the winners bracket, and the loser is going to be falling down to that losers bracket. And I believe they're going to be facing off against Team Fear, although don't quote me on that one.
Yeah, not too sure on the exact specifics yet. The brackets are pretty nuts, just because it's 16 teams coming out of groups. They're all going different places. Who knows who's playing who? But right now, it looks like Mundo going to start Wolves in the blue buff. Pretty standard start. Normally, he could go red buff, but no real reason to do it. Bot lane, actually, it looks like Chaos X Special going to be pressuring Harlick and Lai. It's like it's been a while since I pronounced his name. Like, all right, Lai.
So yeah, Chaos and Special actually coming in, trying to put pressure from them, taking those golems with. They actually did not wind up stealing, taking with the wolves, so they're not equalized on that. Their strategy was a little bit more about denying the enemy of those golems, and they actually were only able to take one. Didn't exactly see who got that one. Dyrus, meanwhile, on the top lane against Equal Vocal. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Going down, Undertows is going down very, very quickly. Ghost was popped as well. Flash burn from Jax there, and he's gonna be able to get away. But Dyrus already very, very aggressive in that top lane.
I mean, if Olaf gets an early advantage, he needs to really dominate the lane. If not, someone like Jax can just jump on him. He might get sold by the Undertow, but the sustained damage that someone like Jax can bring really is hard to deal with. Bot lane, I mean, it was important for Chaos and Special to pressure Lila and Harlick, just because if they let them get the golems, they'll hit level 2 sooner, they'll get the early pressure. And it looks like Chaos and Special, they're pushing up just to get level 2 faster, just so that when Urgot does hit level 2, they're not going to be bullied just because of the experience disadvantage.
By denying that one golem, they denied a large chunk of experience to Urgot, as well as the fact that Vayne, you're not going to really get going until the later stage of the game. Urgot, you're a lot more powerful in the beginning stages of the game and towards the early mid-game, especially if you wind up picking up a couple kills or generating some sort of advantage. Farm, levels, those would be the kind of things that Vayne really wants to look out for when she's going into that lane against Urgot.
Those reckless swings really taking the Cookable down. It's a weird situation to be Urgot against Vayne, just because Vayne is so much stronger late game. Urgot not known for late game, and he really doesn't have one. There's actually a really early part of the game where eventually Chaos with his true damage can really shut down Lila. So they need to go for early pressure, but I mean, it's a team with Karma. Karma, you go fast, and SGS, they're going to start pressuring as soon as they can.
Meanwhile, we see in the mid lane, Odd One kind of going in for a gank, and Chao, he decides that the last thing he's not going to go for it. But top here, we actually have Dr. Mundo going in against Olaf. Dyrus trying to trade back down with Jax again. has a level advantage, gets the undertow across both members of SGS though. He's running back into it though. He wants to get the kill down on the Mundo. The exhaust already burned off. Jackson trying to leap strike over to Dyrus. Is he going to get the kill? No, Dyrus barely going to make it out of there. Odd1 has now appeared in the top lane, and one jungler's going to have to back away. But Odd1 though might be using Dyrus as bait, trying to go in here. Does not actually connect the twisted advance or anything, just decided to push the lane forward a little bit, and they might just be shoving this in the tower so Dyrus can go back safely.
They're going to shove. Odd1's just going to be aggressive, trying to deny a little bit of CS. That's slow, trying to make it so Equipment can't reach the CS, but a great defensive play overall by Dyrus, going aggressive against Darkness, forcing him to retreat just because he was at such low HP. He's not easy to kill, just because if you try and fight him, he might just kill you in response. Damage going on X special does not land the corrosive charge, and Lila is not going to deal the DPS he wants to. They need to shine now. They need to start being aggressive now, but they're going to spam like crazy. And the idea is more that one of the corrosive charges should hit, and they can follow that up with the Acid Hunters.
Top of this, Chaos pulling a slight CS advantage in the early stages of this game, 32 compared to 27 of Lila, so just these slight advantages are what Chaos is going to need to try to stay ahead of that Urgot in lane. Meanwhile, in top lane, Odd1 showing his head again. Jackson, meanwhile, playing very, very passively this time. He might decide to go back here. Odd1 is going to pop up, check where he is, realize he's not in that brush, sees him recalling there, and he's just going to end up going away. This in the meantime, though, going to give Dyrus, he already went back, picked up a Doran shield, has his boots and a couple more health potions in addition to wards. He's going to have a nice chunk of farm sitting right here. He's going to try to freeze the lane, but he's eventually just going to take all that for himself.
I do love that play coming out of the Odd1. He didn't show up to get a kill, he showed up to make sure that that wave of CS, the wave of creeps would get denied. That right now, Olaf's at the turret, it's going to be really hard for Equivocal to fight him there, just because he has that disadvantage now. And they've kind of forced us into a laning game where Jax is going to need backup from Mundo, and if he doesn't get it, they will just lose time. They will just lose that lane.
To be completely honest with you, this is something that Chowster in the jungle role has brought to CLG North America. He comes into the lanes. We saw it in the game previous against CLG EU. He would come into that top lane just to try to get Yellow, Pete, and Crepo to back off, and that would actually help double lift in lane by making him get a little bit more CS, making the lane back off. It would reset a little bit with the creeps, regardless of the fact he wasn't ganking for kills and he wasn't directly applying pressure. There are these subtle little changes that he was adding to the lane dynamic that was letting his team take little advantages and get ahead. Odd1 doing this in top lane for Dyrus lets him safely go back, lets him freeze that lane a bit farther ahead, so now Jax is overextended if he wants to come back for a gank. All these things are starting to add up, and TSM might be looking to look like TSM again.
It's all about applying that fear, making it so you're scared to go in there, you're scared to fight against that Olaf. And now he is. Now if he goes forward, he might get ganked. That Clairvoyance being used bot lane to try and reveal so that Lila can get his corrosive charge down, which means Maokai top lane, there is a ward there for Equivocal, but he might just not have the chance to run away. Ghost is up for Dyrus. Does Equivocal have his flash up? Yes. Has Ignite in a few seconds too, so it could be a good fight, but it looks like Odd1's just going to back up, sensing the ward since he can't get that kill. Yeah, we actually had a ping going down. Someone saw that Reginald was motioning out of mid lane, even though he was just kind of going around to see if he was going to take the race away from Odd1. That kind of made Equivocal go a little bit on the defensive. Now actually deciding he's going to go down himself. He's pinging the fact that there's a ward in that brush, so look at him taking the long way around as Odd1 already preempting this, knows that he's going to be trying to come in for a gank, and Reginald playing extremely passive against the tower. He's going to try to poke his head up once again, but Odd1's still going to meet him up there. Meanwhile, Dyrus is getting all this free farm in top lane. That Brolov broning out as much as he can. I mean, there's not really any significant advantage for SGS, and that's what scares me. They're not winning their lanes, they're not doing much, and they need to eventually group up and do something. It looks like blue buff now being aggressed on by Dyrus. There is a very, very angry Mundo. Very, very low HP Mundo, actually.
Very angry and low HP Mundo indeed. There's a Karma Shield helping him live through this one, but Dyrus is taking away the Ignite. First blood, finally. He didn't realize it didn't even go down yet. Dyrus going to be able to pick that one up. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we had Odd1 donating that blue buff away to Reginald. There was a Clairvoyance that went down from Soraka, so they knew what was going on, but they didn't know that the Dyrus truck was going to run full force in the Mundo and take him down.
And unfortunately for Mundo, he didn't have his ultimate to escape. I do not believe that Chai used his mantra Q to heal. And that's a pretty important kill. Dyrus, if he gets ahead top lane, eventually he's just going to build tanky. He might build a little bit of damage, but the main focus is that he wants to really jump in, shut down someone like Chowie, shut down something like, well, really anybody in the back line. And it's going to be very easy for him to deal with him just because he's going to have that ultimate and cannot be CC'd.
That's one of those things that we were talking about before, just basically amongst the casters before the tournament even started, was once Dyrus gets going for TSM, it's going to be a good day. But Reginald, in the meantime, coming down, showing his face in bottom lane, potentially wanted to go for a gank, but the SGS bottom lane of Lila and Harlequin just doing a good job of playing back and playing safe, so they're not going to have Reginald coming down and just jumping in on them. Or are they? He decides to go in on Urgot anyway, using that ultimate to rush in. He has to actually burn the flash So Urgot with the flash down, Soraka burning all the heals, and Reginald sticking around, potentially going to go down for another gank, but no, that Clairvoyance comes up from Soraka, they spot him in the bush, and potentially going to go back now.
Lilai just being annoying as hell, making sure he can't go back safely. But really, the story's going to be top lane. 29 CS on Equivocal to 59 CS on the Dyrus. I believe they actually had a lane swap, but I do not believe Equivocal played top lane for SGS until recently. Oh, fight going on bot lane though. What's going on? Lilai taking a lot of damage, stunned in the wall. Can he do anything?
Crescendo went off and it locked him in place, and it looks like that no one's going to be able to help him out with that one. Reginald, they're poking around being really, really annoying, but it wound up backfiring against him as Reginald just stuck around for a long, long time, thinking that he was finally gone. He was still in that brush, jumped out, Crescendo, condemned against the wall. Unfortunately, Urgot can't go anywhere despite how many legs he has.
And TSM saying, "Oh, you're gonna keep us here? All right, we'll stay here. We'll fight you now." People doing a lot of damage top lane. But guess what? That turret's now being pressured bot. Chaui roamed or tried to roam bot, but deciding maybe I can't really do anything. Now deciding to finally go there, but not much you can do in that bot lane.
And meanwhile, we did have actually Odd One coming in and holding that mid lane while Reginald was roaming into the bottom. So that first off gave them the hint that, okay, Reginald is still down there because Odd One's still hiding around. We saw him motion over towards his own woods and go in and want to take away those wolves as well, and that actually was kind of a signal like, oh, okay, well, he left the lane, maybe Reginald's gone, and well, there he is again. So putting pressure down on that tower now. We saw them actually going back to buy with a hefty chunk of money in their pockets. So double Dorians and Sorcerer's Shoes now being acquired by Reginald as he returns back to his mid lane. Vayne already going straight BF sword, no Dorians plays whatsoever. Chaos is not afraid at this point.
And that manly approach is exactly what they need. They're not going to let Lilai go into a poke battle. They're going to go all out. They're going to make it so that Chaos will be initiating hard onto Lilai. And Urgot just won't have the DPS. Early on, he does the most damage, but Vayne, she ramps up relatively quickly, and you can't really outstain her.
We do actually have in top lane. Dyrus is continuing to farm away, using those undertows to his advantage. 88 CS compared to 32. I think that deserves to be pointed out at this point in time. 1 kill as well. So Dyrus actually with a huge gold lead over Equivocal. I'm going to say it both ways the entire matchup, so it really doesn't matter. But a huge lead over Jax in that top lane. Even an experience bonus of 1 level on him at this point.
Well, Equivocal's a word.
Equivocal, it's got 2 L's though.
Okay, so. Equivocal.
But I swear I speak English.
Yeah. Well, Darkness is now up there trying to help out Equivocal, and it's not working out. There's not much that Mundo can do. He's based off that sustain slow from his axes, from his Q, and those cleavers. I think it depends on the skin, but that sustain CC is not going to work. They can't really do anything to Olaf. They just don't have the chase. Mundo can keep up, maybe Equivocal can keep up using his flash, but it's so much burn to maybe kill Dyrus. It's not going to be anything really reliable. He just has too much gold. Actually has a hard gold. I think he's building either a Philosopher's Stone, or if he has the gold, he might just go straight for a Warmogs.
Oh, we're going to have to see about that one. We do see Dyrus already with about 1k in the bank, even more, 1.1k in the bank, 3.6k compared to the 2k that Equivocal has. I'm going to get it right from now on. But continuing to snowball that lead in top lane, we talked about that's what TSM needs to do. We saw Reginald with a bit of an experience disadvantage. It was 2 levels against Chaui, now it's only down to 1. But besides the fact that they've gotten kills in the bottom lane, so they got Chaos rolling, they've gotten kills on Dyrus, so they have Dyrus rolling in the top lane. Reginald on Diana, he's going to want to roam around anyway, so if he can continue to push his advantages in other lanes, it's not going to matter as much as a team composition if Reginald falls behind their mid laner. If their mid laner can't keep up with him with assist, with ganking, and just positioning, they're going to get on the map because of these team engagements.
So we didn't mention this before, but holy crap, look at Chaui's farm, 140 to 85.
Karma's good, man.
She's an excellent farmer, and Reginald did roam bot. Looks like Dragon Bee is taken down by SGS. TSM, they're looking to fight this. They don't have Dyrus. Can they win a 4v5?
Dyrus is locked in that top lane. However, Equivocal is down here, so it looks like SGS is going to be able to take this one. TSM not wanting to engage without their top laner, didn't want to be put in a bad situation. However, they still had a decent amount of poke, they had a decent amount of damage, and they were all lined up in Dragon Pit. Could have potentially been a Crescendo going out, but of course that Urgot swap is going to be a very deadly potential threat. So SGS actually forced them all the way back using that Clairvoyance to their advantage as well, and continuing just to push their objective advantage, take that dragon, take the blue buff away from TSM. Even though they're still down 2 kills though, they have a slight gold disadvantage.
Looks like top lane Dyrus pushing down that turn, trying to be aggressive. Reginald taking their blue buff, making so that SGS. Alright, they got 1 blue buff, they won't get 2. Let's go to Dyrus actually, who's totally new, but I don't know, both Diana and Olaf benefit so much. Gonna go to Diana though. Equivocal spots it with a ward. Don't know if we want to spot that though.
Looks like Diana is going to rush in, but no Moonfall going up. Jack's going to jump back in anyway, though, but Dyrus is here. Chowie all of a sudden flashing in from this mid lane over here. He lands the tether down. It's going to slow them. Undertow from Dyrus trying to get back to slow on there, but Reginald now being chased down by Jack. Has the Grandmaster's Might on. There's a quick little slash away from Reginald. Looks like they're going to be able to disengage with this one. So TSM successfully take away the blue buff from SGS.
Dyrus did not have the mana to fight. If not, that would have been a very, very bad situation for SGS. And unfortunately for Chowie, when he used his Manfred shield, it did not land the damage onto Reginald and onto Dyrus, so he couldn't really keep chasing that. Pretty just having a bit too much HP.
Well, they're actually going to go in here. Odd one, flash, twisted advance going in. Chowie getting a decent amount of damage on the Reginald. Is he going to fall? Is he going to fall? He's not going to fall. Odd one actually saw that shield damage. You saw the shield absorbing the damage. Reginald barely getting out by the skin of his teeth there. The Ignite just not enough to take him down.
So close. And I mean, if Chowie had taken more damage before he used his combo, he actually would have gotten that kill, but you usually don't want to tank too much as someone like Karma, who is very squishy with that shield up. But really, that's the power of Karma. You may not see it all the time. Her problem is that it's hard to utilize it in team fights, but Soul Shield into her Q, the Heavenly Way, into her tether deals so much damage. It's just, you don't have that ultimate. You have to go out of your way to set it up, which SGS have done with their composition.
You can't forget the fact, too, that if Karma's going to get a tether on you, she's going to be able to position it properly and slow down or speed up the rest of her team. So a lot of people might not account for the fact that it might be moving a little bit slower, have that little bit of like a mini Shirelia's boost going on as well. So Karma going to have a lot of utility on top of all the damage, and as you pointed out earlier, the farm she has, already 160 CS, pieces for a death cap in addition to that Chalice of Harmony just to sustain her from spamming mana in that mid lane. Doesn't have to go for the Athenes and Holy Grail very quickly because, well, she's not straight up fighting Diana. Diana's been roaming around and she's been content to farm, so by the time they get to the team fighting phase, she's going to want to have to burst people down with a lot of AP, not just build that Athenes on Holy Grail, not be able to dish out as much damage because she's being harassed in mid lane.
Well, the CDR is incredible on Karma. Normally you just kind of wait on it just because you do want to go for the burst first. Someone like Orianna, you get some CDR, you can do so much damage just all across the board so quickly. You control. Karma's about the burst like you mentioned. Gank got a Lila. Can they make this play happen?
I don't know. Odd's going in, but Darkness is already here. There goes the eventual Maelstrom going down, but Lila's actually going to get a little bit aggressive. Bolt Exhaust going out right here. Chaos is going to wind up tumbling away. No ultimates actually have been burned yet. Actually, the Urgot swap went down, but I don't think he actually swapped anybody at that point.
Chaos.
It swapped on the Chaos?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I didn't actually catch that one, but Vayne, I guess, went backwards. I thought maybe it was broken by the Maokai Q.
Might have been. It wasn't a huge distance if it was. But still, like, a great play coming out from TSM. Good defense coming out from SGS. Now they're trying to push down this turret. Reginald is mid lane as well as Dyrus, but Reggie did roam. They don't have the sight, so that's why SGS is going to go ahead and back off. But they still have their fight in them, despite the fact that Vayne is doing well, 133 CS to 136 on Urgot. But, I mean, Urgot is considered a good character, and despite the fact that he's doing well, Chaos is really kind of hanging in there, and, well, the fights are very equal. It's about who catches who at this point. You can't really disagree with the fact that even though Urgot's doing pretty well, he has to build Brutalizer for the armor penetration on all his poke to get damage down onto Vayne at this point in time. And he's gone for that Hex Drinker already, so he's going to be going into that Maul to Malmortis. Not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Get the Hex Drinker shield on top of his innate tankiness and the resistances he gets from that swap. He's going to be a very hard champion to kill. However, you have double true damage on the side of TSM. Silverbolt procs, in addition to those reckless swings from Olaf, who's just sitting back in top lane, farming away to his heart's content, as we do actually see Equivocal in the bottom, now moving into the bottom lane, potentially going to try to set something up against Chaos. They just have so much true damage. I don't know about the Hex Drinker first. It's a bit of a weird pick because the only magic damage comes out from X-Special and from, well, I guess Alwyn does a bit, but Reginald for the most part. And I don't know if Reggie's going to really die for Lila that much. Lila, he's not normal AD carries DPS from not being quite as high. However, he hasn't gone for a Glacial Shroud, hasn't gone for the CDR yet, so he's still not that tanky. At this point, he's a pretty squishy person, but if he has a Soul Shield on him coming up from Karma, that might be enough. Equivocal is in the bot lane, they're looking to set up a fight just because, well, he goes top lane, he dies, so screw it, go bot.
So, I mean, it worked out for Reginald. We had Reginald actually capitalize on the fact that he was able to roam bottom so many times. They actually wound up transitioning that into a kill for Chaos. So, maybe, you know, Equivocal going to be doing the same thing. Darkness, we can see creeping up through the lane. Well, he's still quite a ways away. Odd one, though, with those boots of mobility, has been able to truck himself back up into this brush area. So, he's actually going to be prepared for the fact that maybe Jax and Mundo might dive on the Chaos and X-Special. Jax is actually going to go back, though, has acquired a Phage in addition to a Dagger, which will mostly be a Zeal, or potentially, I don't even know, actually. It could be going for Berserker's Greaves. I don't think he's going to want to do that, though. He could be going into a Zeal just to complete the pieces for Trinity Force at this point in time, but still, the story of the top lane, Shirelia's Reverie, Giant's Belt, 158 CS onto Olaf against 62 of Jax.
He's so far behind. He needs items to be useful. Jax is someone who, Like, some characters you can be ahead, and that's enough. Jax is someone you need X level of items, and if you're behind, and God help you if you're behind the enemy team as well, relatively, you are in such a bad position. So he's going to need to get his items. He needs something to be effective in team fights. Right now, he's a stun and a little bit of sustained damage, but he doesn't match it up at all to Vayne. He doesn't match up at all to even Lili at this point, so it's going to be hard to make him useful in team fights. He might just be there for the Soul Shield and the tether from Karma.
If he is still going to have those available, then Chowie's going to be able to deal a decent amount of damage like we mentioned before. It's all about putting that Soul Shield down on somebody and getting the AoE damage in addition to protecting them and initiating that team fight. We all see TSM going for that Dragon though. SGS going to try to contest this one. Diana's Moonfall went in and actually got Chowie in there, but he's going to be able to get away. Look at the crescendo from Special though, going across the entire team of SGS. TSM going to clean up. There's a double kill already for Chaos. Is he going to be able to get the triple kill? Quibicle's actually in a bad spot. Diana's going to mop up the kill onto Soraka. Down goes Jax with a triple kill for Vayne. Not a quadra kill, that's a double kill and a triple kill, regardless of the fact TSM gonna mop up an ace easy peasy onto SGS.
And Dyrus, he's at like 10 HP. He almost died, but you know what? Doesn't matter. He survived. He just got an under 2 off to get it back 300 HP, which is pretty damn impressive, but still, they could not kill Dyrus in the end. I mean, Charlie had to use his Soul Shield before the fight started. He could not be effective in the fight just because he had to play so defensively. The catch onto Karma before anything happens is so important. TSM, I mean, they're up 0-7 now. No one died that fight. As close as Dyrus did, he's still alive. Now they're going to push down mid-turret. They can take this relatively easily, though. The Darkness won't be able to do anything, and they're just... I mean, they have a late-game team, and they're ahead early. Every time we see this, it's almost so hard for a team like SGS with their early-game composition to really come back.
We do see TSM on the back already buying up some items. Giant's Belt, Shirley's Reverie from Olaf. Nothing really new there except for a Chain Vest. Should be turning into a Random's Omen or maybe just going for a Guardian Angel. Heck, he has the Giant's Belt too. Could be going for a Sunfire Cave. Dyrus has so many options available to him because he's rich. Almost as rich as he really is. But not quite.
Yeah,
not that rich. However, on the side of Odd One, he's already picked up the Aegis of the Legion, so he's going to be able to help the team in those team fight engagements. On the side of Reginald, he has picked up an Abyssal Scepter, so they're adding to his own resistances and just debilitating a little bit of the magic resistances from SGS, basically canceling out the Soraka passive and then a little bit. And on top of this now, Vayne with a Phantom Dancer and that Bloodthirster almost nearly at full stacks, if not already. I'm just going to click on Chaos and get that one. That looks full stacks.
That's pretty full Bloodthirster.
That's a beefy Bloodthirster indeed. And Chaos in the meantime already pieces for the second Shirley's Reverie from TSM. They're looking in a dominant position when you compare it to the items of SGS. Death Cap on Karma is very impressive. She's been doing a great job. 222 CS compared to 170 of Diana, but that's basically where the impressions end. We already talked about Urgot's build. Jax has basically no items. Mundo went double Doran Shield because he was getting abused in his own jungle early on. And then Soraka hasn't even completed her second GP10 item right now.
When even your Soraka is so far behind, that's actually a scary sign when the support is so far behind because it means their bot lane isn't doing well. But I mean, they have not gotten turrets. They've gotten one dragon, which is a nice, but it's really a drop in the bucket right now, a drop in the ocean because they're just so far behind. It's gold value at this point. A 6,000 gold lead. Wait, no, an 8,000 gold lead. That's a bigger lead. That's a huge lead. That's a lead that when the enemy team has, it's almost their game to really throw. At this point, SGS, they need to hold. If the gold lead does not change, they need to hold for a good 20 minutes before that gold lead is not so impressive. 8,000, 20 minutes in, or 40 minutes in, it's okay. That's pretty good. But it's just the team for TSM, it's built around Vayne, but even Dyrus is able to do so much damage. Even Reginald is able to really dominate these fights, and that's the big problem. It's not just that, oh, Vayne is scary, it's that everybody is scary, but most importantly, Vayne is also scary.
Yeah, I mean, you don't, like, if you're SGS, you're saying, like, oh, if this was, like, 20 minutes later, it wouldn't be that bad of a gold advantage. If they can hold on, I'll be fine. I don't know if I want to hold on for 20 minutes against the Vayne. That's just a scary proposition there.
It's a late game comp. They have Urgot. This is one of, like, okay, someone like Caitlyn considered early game, can still come back late game. Someone like even, not Caitlyn, like even Graves, who may not have the most range, still comes back fine late game. Urgot doesn't. Urgot does not scale as well as AD carries, and it shows it's going to really be painful for SGS if the game does go long. But if the game doesn't go long, they're so far behind, it means they've probably lost already. Now a 9,000 gold lead in favor of TSM.
Yeah, it's just a little unfortunate for SGS, as we were talking about before. Even if you look at what the items have been building, I mean, we had actually Reginald might actually tag onto Darkness here. Decides to rush in there. There is the Moonfall tagging them backwards. The rest of TSM lagging a little behind, though. Dyrus, making it in the last place there. But they are just going to pressure down on this tower, have the minion wave. Reginald continuing to zone out the rest of SGS by just rushing forward and having the threat of the Moonfall and the threat of the engage from TSM. They're just going to wind up speeding up with Sona, go over actually towards this bush area. I don't know, that's actually TSM's ward over there, so SGS has no idea this is happening. TSM might just bait them to Baron, and look at the vision. They have wards absolutely everywhere.
Wow. SGS, they have clairvoyance.
They do have clairvoyance, but have they used it already?
They just used it right now. Actually, they spotted that TSM wasn't there. TSM might have seen it go down. They're actually pincering now. SGS, you gotta run. You gotta get the hell out of there.
Odd One is going forward very quickly. There's a speed up there from Sona. Dyrus has not used the Shirelia's Reverie yet, or so I don't think. Looks like, ooh, the tether from Chowie there, making sure all of SGS gets sped up by staying together. They're gonna run away and disengage, but now that they've chased him to the other side of the map, TSM's like, hey, look, free Baron.
And, well, this is going to be a Baron versus a push. And, well, alright, SGS is probably going to turn out of it. That's nice. Dyrus actually going to retreat so they don't lose too much ground. They'll lose the inhib, but TSM, they're going to have that Baron buff. They're going to kick SGS's ass. That's all that's going to happen in the next team fight, unless SGS somehow gets some really good positioning. This is not really the team they can position against. Olaf really shuts down a lot of Karma's strength, and, well, if they don't make something happen right now, that Baron is going to be devastating.
And we saw Olaf throw one axe and they ran away, realizing that there was a Baron, but they don't want to be cut off either. They could think that the rest of TSM is swinging around, and they do see 3 members of TSM moving through the mid lane, so they could be going for, once again, that pincer move. SGS going to stop off and do the blue buff. This could be a little bit of their unmaking, but no, TSM is not actually going to engage on them yet. Dyrus and Odd One look to be pincering down from the top and the rear, with the rest of TSM moving in from the front, but no, SGS is just going to take away their blue buff. They're not going to engage just yet, and TSM just going to be content to take this Baron buff and use their advantages. Dyrus actually getting caught out a little bit here. Oh no, he's going to pop the Ragnarok though, so he's not going to get slowed down. He's not going to be CC'd. He's going to be able to run away easy peasy, and while SGS, they thought they caught Dyrus out. They thought they had what they wanted, but he was just a little bit too slow.
You don't catch a lot. Well, it's not something you really catch out. And look, with the CDR, his ultimate is already 1/4 of the way through the cooldown, so they're never going to catch Dyrus. That's important for them. They need kills. They need kills badly, but it's not going to come from Dyrus. Dyrus is someone who's going to die at the end of a team fight very, very slowly and very, very painfully.
We do have SGS picking up that dragon, so they're going to continue to try to close the global gold gap. It's still a 9,000 gold lead at about 26 minutes into this game. 7 kills compared to 0, although SGS still has 2 towers, but TSM has 4 at this point in time. So this is the kind of more dominant, the more assertive, and the more we're actually going for objectives and going for kills and doing things a little bit more intelligently TSM that we've seen in the past tournaments, and this is really good. Maybe they've actually gotten a wake-up call in the previous matches of the group play, and they realized that, hey, we need to win this, we want to move on, we want to play against CLGU, redeem ourselves in that kind of matchup, and continue into the winner's bracket. They're not going to let SGS stand in their way.
The SGS, they're almost gone. TSM pushing them to the side right now. They have the Baron buff. They can try and pressure mid. Only bot outer turret is left. Every other outer turret has gone down for SGS. Besides, well, actually mid. Sorry, I thought it was down already, but I guess not. And they're going to pressure this. They can take this relatively easily. I mean, the hard issue is going to come out from someone like Urgot, but QSS not quite finished on Vayne. That might be their chance to get a good kinetic position reverser onto someone like Vayne. Possibly. No, it's got to be Vayne. Vayne's the only good choice.
If they do actually get it onto Vayne, Urgot's going to be in the middle of a Baron buff TSM. And at that point in time, Diana could actually go in and engage with being Reginald. He's aggressive as always. He's kind of doting off to the side there. Looks like he's actually going to be maybe taking away the enemy red buff. Yeah, he's actually stealing away the red buff. TSM going to rotate this one down. Chaos looks like he might be taking that one away from Reginald, and indeed he does. So now they're rotating towards that bottom. We mentioned that being the other tower that is up. Applying pressure, they're trying to spread SGS fairly thin. They're going to see how they react and see if they can potentially pick someone off here. Dyrus, once again, lagging behind a little bit, but he is a beast. 233 CS, Frozen Heart being acquired. He has 1, 0, and 5 on himself already, so if he's just going to move over here, he's a threat enough that at least 1 or 2 members of SGS have to split off.
Definitely going to be more than 1. No one can only 1 Dyrus right now. He can split push safely if he'd like to, and that's what he's going to do right now. He knows that they sent 5 people down to mid bot. He's going to start attacking this mid turret. If the rest of TSM shows up, they can take it in response to the defense from SGS, but had they just left 1 person, had they left 2, they would have lost bot, they would have lost 1v1.
So Dyrus actually, Chaos moving around the side as well, going to take that one down. Reginald decides he's going to go in. Darkness dropping extremely low already. Vengeful Maelstrom is popped. Reginald actually going to take out Chowie in the middle of everything, so there's no more shields to the side to SGS. That's their most fed champion on the team. He's down. Mundo goes down very shortly after that one. Dyrus and Reginald picking up kills respectively on those two, and TSM looking to push down and take this inhibitor.
And Chowie, as scary as he is, he has karma problems just because he has to get in close once he uses damage on himself. He's getting caught out, doesn't have a decent escape because the tether does not matter against so many characters on TSM. Only really Sona is affected by that tether, and they're losing their inhibs now. This is TSM, they're going to take this game clean unless SGS makes a play like right now.
Well, Reginald going to be going in here on the Lai. Lai has to flash away. And as you mentioned before, Karma problems. Kind of sounds like our life on Reddit sometimes. But aside from that one, they're going to be taking down the inhibitor turret in the top lane. Going to be taking down the inhibitor. Reginald, once again, just continuing to go in. The threat of the engage, just continuing to push SGS back. They know they can't take TSM if they want to engage. Reginald just abusing this and just using it like crazy. Crescendo goes off across 2 or 3 members of SGS. Chowie is going to be able to get away. Tether goes down to Harlequin, but unfortunately for them, Chaos is in the front and he's dealing damage away. Takes down Dr. Mundo, tumbling forward. Double kill has been acquired as he takes down Urgot. Chose to turn on the Chowie, but he's taking some tower hits, so he decides to back up. Hits minions once or twice, leeches his life back, goes back in. There's a triple kill being acquired for Chaos. Can he get the quadra before Soraka goes into the fountain? No, he cannot. He does not want to dive in there with Jax as well. That would almost certainly be death for him. Instead, he's just going to win the game. TSM going out in style 12-0 against Singapore Sentinels, showing them how it's done and getting into that winner bracket matchup.
And Chai last second right there, trying to go ahead, flash forward, use the shield to pick up a kill. TSM Chaos with a mana quit. But I mean, they were trying to get something until the very end of that game. They could not secure it.
No, so unfortunately for Singapore Sentinels, they are going to be the ones that fall into the losers bracket. TSM going to be advancing into that winners bracket game. I believe they're going to be playing against CLGEU, and that's going to be coming up rather shortly. Or actually, are we going to have that on this stream, I think, Studio?
I think that might be us afterwards. I'm not sure. Not positive. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on sometimes, but I believe we're going to be taking up TSM versus CLGU. Hell of a match.
That is definitely going to be one hell of a match. But story of this match, I mean, we're taking a look at it. TSM completely dominated. It was 12-0. 41 assists coming out as a team together for TSM. Nothing from the side of SGS. They couldn't get a single kill. Chowie was doing excellent in the mid lane as Karma. He got, what was it, 287 CS on that mid lane?
Most in the game by far, actually.
Reginald was pretty close with 233, if you want to call that close. Even Dyrus with 240, and Chaos on Vayne, who dominated everybody, only 235. So he was sitting back in that mid lane, feeling great about himself and just farming up. But unfortunately, when the top lane and the bottom lane, well, the top lane snowballed naturally because Dyrus was just able to take it. We saw that great play as he went to go for the trade on Mundo early on when they tried to pick up first blood. We saw him move down to invade into SGS's jungle and take away that blue buff, which are both really good plays, really aggressive plays, and he was able to do it safely because Reginald continued to roam bottom. Chowie wasn't able to roam the same way that Diana was with Karma, so he wasn't able to contest Dyrus nearly as much. The bottom lane got rolling with Vayne being ahead of Urgot, which never going to be a good thing, as you mentioned multiple times in the cast. Urgot very good early, Vayne really good late game, Urgot not so good late game, Urgot bad late game. Urgot no.
I mean, the big thing was that it really came down to Chowie playing Karma, and Karma just isn't that character to carry a team on her own. If there'd been someone, if Equivocal had done okay, not well, just okay, been able to keep equal or a little bit behind Dyrus instead of that massive loss he had in terms of CS. If even Darkness on Mundo was able to do a lot in the jungle, keep himself relevant, they can dive forward, they can be the aggressor. But in the end, it came down to Chowie kind of being in the front line because there was no one else to really be up there to take damage. And well, once Karma's going down first to fight, once she has a Soul Shroud in defense before she can get the AoE on anybody else, you're going to fall behind, you're going to be losing that fight, and it's unfortunate, but, well, that's what happened.
Yeah, it's very true. And even the fact we're talking about Equivocal and we're saying he just got absolutely bodied in the top lane. His CS 111 compared to Dyrus, who had 240. He did only die once that entire game, and that was in one engagement in the woods where TSM really started to snowball the game forward. Unfortunately, he just had no presence for the team. Trinity Force, Doran's Blade, and Boots. Those are all of the items that he got the entire game. 5.6k. He almost had as much gold as his support Soraka, who didn't even get a GP10, a second GP10, until about the 20-minute mark of the game. So that just goes to show how hard that Dyrus shut down Jax in that top lane. And I mean, if you just want to look at the game, like the score screen to talk of the story of the game, that's just completely it. The Jax and Olaf storyline, it trickled through the rest of TSM's composition, and they just wound up working it out and really took a decisive game against SGS.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, Mundo could not do much himself. Went 0-4-0, had a little bit more gold than Soraka. Like, there are 3 members of SGS within 500 gold of that Soraka, and that's scary. Support should be way in the back. Even if you do well, they're generally way far behind, especially when you're considering the solo lane, like your top lane. But they just got beaten up so hard. Dyrus got that early advantage, and he made it work. He snowballed it with the help of the odd one, of course. But once it happened, once they lost control of the lane, they did not get it back on TS or on SGS. And that's something that Jax is bad at. If the wave pushes up, if you're going far forward, well, if you don't have an escape or a way to push it forward because the other guy can beat you up, you're kind of screwed.
It's very true. So TSM taking a very decisive victory against Singapore Sentinels. We mentioned before, that means TSM's going to advance as the 2-1 in their group. They are in the winner's bracket, something that I'm pretty sure everybody in North America is breathing a very heavy sigh of relief about as they see their fan favorites finally get into the winner's bracket of IPL 5. Although SGS, they're not down and out yet. They are going to be seeded into the loser's bracket, which means that they still have a chance to try to advance further, but they've only got one shot. They get eliminated after that, they are gone from the tournament.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the game between TSM and Singapore Sentinels. We are going to have a best-of-3. I believe it's going to be CLG EU and TSM. We're getting the nod, so that's what's going to be. So as soon as that game gets underway, we will, of course, be jumping right into that one. But until then, guys, we're going to take a little bit of a break, but stay tuned. We got more action on the main stage as well. I don't know who wound up winning the M5 Curse game. It looked like M5 was winning.
M5. You got a pentakill.
Oh, well, you got a pentakill, okay.
Yeah, come on, there you go. You got a pentakill.
I guess that means that M5 wound up winning that game, but I know there's going to be another best-of-3 on the main stage. You guys should check that one out, but I don't know. I kind of like CLGU and TSM, so I think they should stay here.
Yeah, they'll chill with us. We can ask them to hang out.
All right, guys, so like I said, after a short break, we'll be back with that best-of-3. Until then, stick around.